Now, I don't always wear hockey jerseys, but I will say this: since the channel became what the channel is, I wear it a lot. Wear them quite a bit. Um, and the collection has grown via um, some shrewd buys on my part, and hey, some very generous subscribers as well along the way. Now, the interesting thing to me is that as I get a jersey and I put it on, sometimes I put it on a jersey and I'm like, I don't like this one as much as I thought I might. And there's times I put one on and I go, I may not really cheer for this team, but I'll be damned if this doesn't look good. So the jerseys that I feel suit me are not necessarily the ones of my favorite teams. Now that's not 100% the case, as there's a couple that I put them on and I'm like, hey, this looks pretty good. But for the rule for this one, I didn't include the Seals. I didn't include the Nordiques. I didn't include any team that's been moved or no longer exists. Honorable mentions to Vegas. If Vegas came out with a black third with that secondary logo as their main logo, that would probably be one I'd wear quite a bit. And honorable mentions as well to both the Oilers, surprisingly, and Colorado. Colorado has some jerseys I really enjoy wearing. So honorable mention there. And the funny thing is, of course, when I'm out in public, and obviously, this channel's 59,000 some for subscribers, but not everybody knows I'm the hockey guy, clearly. So when I'm out in public and I wear a jersey and a hat of a certain team, it can make people think I'm a fan of that team because normally, naturally, logically, that's what people would think. So I don't blame them, but it does sometimes give me pause when I'm leaving the house and I'm wearing a certain jersey and a hat. I'll go, I should go change. Number 10, though, because I'm going to do 10, is Toronto. And this goes back to when I started collecting jerseys. I would get Toronto jerseys because they were cheap. Remember, I'm coming into collecting jerseys at the end of the Harold Ballard era, before Dougie Gilmour gets in there. Back during the days of a guy like a Rob Ramage, for instance. Um, Honestly, I like wearing Toronto. And that's why I've got so many bloody Toronto jerseys. I have got a ton of Maple Leaf jerseys. Even though, again, if people are like, oh, I cheer for the Leafs, huh? I'd be like, no. But I don't hate the Leafs, and I used to when the channel started 2 years ago. Yeah, I had a definite distaste for them. Number 9, Vancouver. And it might surprise people that Vancouver's down at 9. But I see Vancouver a lot. Everybody wears Vancouver a lot. And I don't wear the Flying V in public very much either. I really genuinely don't. They're jerseys that I have and enjoy wearing, but for certain videos and on certain occasions. So, like if we're going out with the kids and I want to make sure that my wife doesn't lose me in a crowd, all right, we'll go with yellow Flying V or something bright orange. Then I can have that joke of, people looking at me and going, "What? Oh, I want to make sure she doesn't lose me in a crowd." Number 8. And you know what's funny is I've always liked St. Louis's colors. I have always been a huge fan of, and the one jersey of theirs that I don't have is, now I have the Oshie of the current design in Reebok, and I have, of course, this beautiful Winter Classic, which they're going to do an Adidas version of this year. But the one I don't have is the one where they had that same soft fabric that you have with the Nashville Predators jersey in the late 90s as well. It's the one St. Louis I don't have, and I can get that in Reebok with the piping, but honestly, other than the small striping difference and the different fabric, there really isn't enough of a difference for me to say, yes, that's a completely different jersey. It's enough of a reach with the Bruins with the yellow shoulders. So I'm going to, I'll die on that mountain, not on one for St. Louis. Number 7, there's something about a Flyers jersey. I've really become a huge fan of the TV show The Goldbergs. You just turn this a little bit so that there's not so much glare. But I've become a huge fan of the TV show The Goldbergs. And I didn't like it the first couple of times I watched it. But suddenly I'm a fan. And Barry always wears his Flyers shirt. And it's kind of funny because it always seems to be the same Flyers shirt. But Flyers gear looks awesome. And the orange Flyers jerseys. The first time I had one and I wore it and I was like, you know what? Again, I may not cheer for the Flyers, but it looks good. It's a nice looking. And it's funny because it doesn't necessarily mean that these are jerseys that I think are my favorites in my collection. These are just ones that when I wear them, I go, yeah, that's the one. Number 6. And again, this will surprise some people. But I wear Kings quite a bit. I do. I like the LA Kings. I like almost every design of the Kings. I've even warmed to this one. And when they went to this logo originally, I was like, really? That's it? Because they went from this beautiful crown to making the beautiful crown a tiny piece of it and LA in big letters over top. So I wouldn't mind seeing the old coat of arms back. I wouldn't mind seeing just the crown on the front again with this design. I think this design is actually pretty sharp. And I say that as somebody who I don't cheer for the Kings, but man, the shimmery, shiny silver is fun. Number 5. I remember when I used to play floor hockey at my former church, and I always played well when I wore my Blackhawks jersey. And obviously, it's not this one. That Blackhawks jersey I wore playing floor hockey enough that it has a hole in it. That's why I had to replace it with a Reebok, and now I've replaced the Reebok with this beautiful chain stitched Adidas because some people have shown me the chain stitching on the Chicago jerseys, and now I can't wear them if they don't have chain stitching. Thanks. But honestly, wearing Chicago just... And this is as somebody who, as a Canuck fan early in the 2010s, it pained me to admit how much I love to wear Chicago gear because I really couldn't stand the team itself. And that's where the separation occurs between a collector and just a fan. A collector is more likely to wear just clothing of whatever their obsession is, whether it's in some cases Star Wars. I have the Flash here. I have an Archer shirt that I'm wearing, which if anybody's curious, where can I buy that? Yeah, Yvonne ordered the fabric and made it for me. So this is one of the most amazing shirts ever. And I'm telling you, when you wear this out in public, you get some looks. You get some looks. But this is more of the kid clothing I'd be wearing. It's kid until you actually read what's on it. I'd be wearing out in public rather than probably jerseys half the time. Number 4. Yeah. Anybody who's paying attention would know this would be on the list. I absolutely love Anaheim gear for the most part. And I say this as somebody that I was not a huge fan of the... And it's right back here. It's back here somewhere. Right here. So even though, as a hockey fan, I was never a huge fan of the original Mighty Ducks jersey and logo, I have to say that they've hit it out of the park since then. Minus the word mark jersey, which I have as well, because of course I do. But, yeah, I like wearing Ducks jerseys and Ducks hats. And I've got that beautiful orange jersey and that fantastic orange hat. Tell you,
hideous one?
I wear those together.
That one you can spot from space.
Again, it's so you can't lose me in a crowd, sweetie.
No, I wouldn't be able to lose you even if I wanted to.
You don't want to hear like from the Lost and Found that somebody's husband's been found. He's wearing a black jersey and a hat and he seems nervous. So, number 3. Calgary. Yeah, I know. The last meetup we had in Abbotsford, I wore my Flames jersey, scored a couple of goals. Don't be surprised when I sport this bad boy for the next floor hockey or outdoor street hockey game. And it goes back to when I was in high school. I loved the Flames logo so much, and just the red, the yellow, the white, the nice simple. They should use this full time. I still think this should be their full time jersey. The Black C, I mean, I have it, have an Adidas, and I have it in Reebok, but the white C to me works better. I still prefer the white one. I think it looks nicer. I just do, and I know that would take the black out of it. You can put the Alberta and the Canadian flags on the shoulders of this, and it still works. Number 2, to the surprise of no one, the first jersey I ever had was a Boston Bruins jersey that had belonged to a friend of my dad's, and it was beat up, and the bears on the sleeves were, one of them was off and the other one was half off, and yet I loved that shirt and I wore it a lot, and I found that when I wore it, I don't know, it really just felt like it was my uniform. Like I put on a Bruins jersey and I looked in the mirror and I went, yep. When we had picture day, my grad year, it was Bruins. I was like, well, I have to wear my Bruins jersey. It's picture day. And then there was another day, too, that they were taking pictures for the annual, and I knew they were going to be taking pictures for the annual for the grad. And again, I wore a different Bruins jersey that day. So my Bruins jersey collection started before I graduated high school. And I still have one of the two jerseys in my collection currently. So that's, I mean, it's upstairs, but that's how far back the collection goes. So number one, and this isn't going to surprise anybody. People are going to be like, really? You ended with that? Number one, and I had the jersey all set up, but then I did the live stream last night. So, number one, and again, I don't expect anybody to be surprised by this. I don't. And yet, when I collected jerseys, so I got Boston first, via, a friend of my dad's. Then I got Vancouver, because of course I got Vancouver. Followed by a second Bruins jersey, which was the white Bruins jersey. And then I got both home and away Minnesota. Because the Minnesota, when I got it, it was the year the Minnesota North Stars changed to that Stars logo. So it wasn't the N and the star, it was the Stars logo. And I thought it looked pretty sharp after I'd seen it in person. Because on TV I thought it looked like crap. Remember being really angry because I thought the North Stars jersey had been fantastic, and then they changed it to this abomination. And then I saw it in person, I was like, it's pretty nice for an abomination. So I wore both the home and away. It was the first team that I had personally bought both home and away for, was Minnesota North Stars. And then when they went to Dallas, I just kept wearing their gear. And I love wearing North Stars gear. I love wearing Dallas Stars gear as well. Now, as I said, I'm not talking about, I'm not including teams that have moved. So I'm genuinely saying that if I'm going to go out and I have to choose between all my jerseys, I will very often come up with a Dallas jersey. Like, all right, I'm going out wearing Dallas. The nice thing, too, about wearing Dallas is this, unlike Boston, is a team that if I wear it out in public, I don't have to worry about getting dirty looks from Canuck fans. Dallas's record against Vancouver in the playoffs, less than stellar for Dallas. And, that's the truth. Those are the 10 teams that I'm most likely to wear when I leave the house when I'm not doing videos. From Dallas to Toronto. And let me know which ones surprised you in the comment section below. Let me know what team you wear that you don't necessarily cheer for. And you say, you know what? I may not cheer for this team and I may not like them, but I'll be damned if they don't have a really nice jersey and I'm wearing it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I'll talk to you again soon.